So next we are going to take into account nucleic acids. It is the most important biomolecule. I used this most important for proteins as well, but when I take into account nucleic acids, we are referring to the most important molecule which carries all the information that whatever proteins are to be made, that information would be hidden in the nucleic acids. Now we use the term that this is present in the genes, that person is having specific characteristics because it is present in the genes. So what are those genes basically? They are nothing else but the nucleic acids. So if we have to see the bullet points which we need to understand the outline of this particular biomolecule is that these are the informational molecules. The two types of nucleic acids that we deal with is DNA and RNA, and while understanding nucleic acids we see the structure of ATP as well. And what are this DNA and RNA all about? DNA carries the genetic information and RNA is like an important associate of DNA, which is responsible for proper execution of that information in the form of protein synthesis. RNA have a very crucial role, and it is the messenger molecule basically. You will get to know in your understanding of the genetic principles of molecular inheritance. Basically the molecular inheritance is being carried out by these two nucleic acids only, and both of them work hand in hand. And in case of certain organisms, either this would be the genetic material or this would be the genetic material, predominantly DNA being the genetic material of most of the organisms. When we see its structure, we get to know that it is a polymer. And what are the monomers known as? They are known as nucleotides. And what is nucleic acid basically composed of? What is basically a nucleotide? It contains a nitrogenous base, it contains a pentose sugar, and it contains a phosphate. This is the entire outline of the nucleic acids. Now when we understand these nucleic acids in a little bit detail, so that we get to know their classification properly and the outline becomes little bit more clear, we have that the nucleic acid would be polymer of a nucleotide. So let us see what a nucleotide is all about. This is something new that you come across. Nucleotide would be formed when a phosphate group would come and attach to nucleoside. All right. Phosphate is formed from phosphoric acid. It comes and joins with the nucleoside. Now what is this nucleoside made up of? Nucleotide was made up of phosphate and nucleoside. This nucleoside would be made up of nitrogenous base and a pentose sugar. All right. So we had this in the beginning, nitrogenous base combines with pentose sugar and it combines with phosphate, it forms a nucleotide. So we have a nucleoside being a nitrogenous base and pentose sugar which are joined to each other, and then we have a phosphate group that comes and joins with the sugar of this particular nucleoside. And when we talk about nitrogenous bases, now let's see each one of the components of a nucleotide individually. As I told you, this phosphate would be formed by phosphoric acid. What about the nitrogenous bases? These nitrogenous bases are of two types. One is purines and the other one is pyrimidines. This is the basic classification that we come across. Purines are of two types. Purines, what is the basic difference between these two? That these are cyclic rings. Purine contains, whatever the purine would be, it would contain two rings, and in case of pyrimidine there would be a single ring. Alright, so purines would be further of two types, that is adenine and guanine. You need to cram these names because more and more you cram them, you will come across these terms again and again when you understand the structure of DNA. Adenine and guanine. And pyrimidines are three. First one is cytosine, uracil and thymine. Alright, so we have 2 purines and 3 pyrimidines. These, when they combined with the pentose sugar. Now when we see pentose sugar, they are also of 2 types. First one is a ribose sugar and the other one would be a deoxyribose sugar. Depending on the type of sugar that would be present, the nucleic acid would be named such. Deoxyribose, if the sugar base is deoxyribose, it would form deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, and in case it is ribose sugar, it would form ribonucleic acid, that is RNA. So what is this sugar all about? It is a pentose sugar. You need to understand that there are 5 carbons which are present. This is the first, second, third, fourth, and here lies the 5th carbon. So we have such structure of a pentose sugar. In case of ribose sugar, we have an extra O, and as the name suggests, deoxy, it will have no O present inside it. There would be an oxygen lesser as compared to the ribose, and where that oxygen lies, it lies at the 2nd position. Supposedly at the 2nd position you are having OH, the sugar is ribose, and if it is only H, the sugar happens to be deoxyribose. So this is the basic difference between the 2 sugars. Now what happens is that at the 5th carbon of the discussed sugar, pentose sugar which would be, there comes and joins the phosphate group over here. Alright, PO4 3 negative would come and join over here, this phosphate group, and it would combine further with the, not like this phosphate would combine with the 3rd carbon again of the particular sugar. Alright, this happens to be 4th, this is 5th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So there is a phosphate bond which is formed between the 5th carbon, this is 5th carbon, and the 3rd carbon of the adjacent sugar. This is the phosphate linkage, and before this phosphate linkage takes place, another linkage has taken place, that is between the sugar and the nitrogenous base. So this is what a nucleotide looks like. Nitrogenous base is present at the 1st carbon. There is a phosphate group that comes and binds to nucleosides and form a nucleotide chain, and the linkage that takes place over here is phosphodiester linkage. You see, these nucleotide to nucleotide, another nucleotide, the bonding that would take place would be by a phosphodiester linkage. Again, this is a dehydration synthesis like we discussed in the case of proteins. There was a peptide bond formed by dehydration synthesis. Over here also the phosphate would lose one of its oxygen, and from here there would be loss of OH that would lead to the release of water molecule, and the formation of phosphodiester bond would take place. So basically it is an esterification reaction that takes place between 2 nucleotides and forms a polynucleotide. So we have nucleic acid where we need to see a polynucleotide chain. Alright, so the polynucleotide chain is formed by many nucleotides. When they come close to each other by the formation of phosphodiester bond, there would be a nucleotide chain that would be formed. So we understand the gross terms in case of nucleotide and the nucleic acid. Now coming to the purines and pyrimidines, you know, they would be binding to the 1st position of the sugar, and you need to see the difference between uracil and thymine. In the case of RNA, whenever the sugar happens to be ribose, the bonding of uracil to the 1st carbon of ribose would take place, and in case of deoxyribose, uracil will not be able to combine with the 1st, instead thymine would come. And what is the basic difference between thymine and uracil is that they are similar. Only difference that lies is that thymine is 5-methyl uracil. That means the single ring of the pyrimidine will have one methyl group substitution at its 5th position. So this is all about the purines, the pyrimidines, the nitrogenous bases that we discussed, the pentose sugars that were to be discussed, ribose and deoxyribose, and of course the phosphate. So what happens in case of DNA? Let us see. DNA was a very important molecule that was understood and discovered in series by many scientists. They have invested a lot of time and intellect in deciphering the structure of DNA. Late in 1960s, there were two scientists who coined the three-dimensional structure of DNA, Watson and Crick, two scientists. They proposed the double helix structure of DNA. So we are going to see what that double helix structure of DNA is all about before understanding the last term, that is ATP. Okay, it is a close associate of nucleic acids. That's why we study ATP as well over here only in the topic of nucleic acids. Now we studied that a nucleotide chain is formed by different bonds, phosphodiester bonds, where we have the arrangement. Supposedly we saw that the nitrogenous bases, they were present at the first position. See this. The nitrogenous bases, they were present at the first position of the ribose or the deoxyribose pentose sugar, and the phosphate bond was formed. So if this happens to be the sugar, then we have phosphate, then we have sugar, then we have phosphate, something like this. So we get to see that the sugar phosphate bonds and the linkages, they form the backbone, while the nitrogenous bases are present protruding like this. Now for a better understanding, this structure has to be read in depth, which is studied during our study of genetics. So such would be one nucleotide chain. Another nucleotide chain or chain of opposite orientation. Opposite orientation would be such that it would be like this. Okay, we will have sugar, phosphate, like this as one nitrogenous base, like this. So what we see over here is that two nucleotide chains are present in close proximity to each other, and when these nitrogenous bases, they come in contact with each other having opposite orientation of the another nucleotide strand, there is formation of hydrogen bonds depending on the type of nucleotide or the nitrogenous base which would be present. The bonding that takes place happens in such a way that adenine often combines, not often, adenine always combines with thymine with the formation of two hydrogen bonds, and guanine combines with cytosine with formation of 3 hydrogen bond. This bonding takes place and there is additional stability that comes into being in two nucleotide chains. Again, I am going to repeat that there are two nucleotide chains. The backbone is being formed by sugar phosphate linkages. The nitrogenous bases are protruding outwards from the first carbon of the sugar, and in contact with another nitrogenous base, they form hydrogen bonds. And how that hydrogen bonding takes place, that adenine combines with thymine and guanine combines with cytosine. Such is the bonding that takes place. Now this bonding, after 10 steps, like 10 bonds which have taken place, which have been formed between the nitrogenous base, there would be a coiling sequence that would be seen. A helix like structure would be formed, that is known as double helix structure, that after 10 nitrogenous bases, that would be the pitch of DNA, there would be a coiling. You have a straight or a thin strand like this, and then you coil it after 10 turns. So you are having a staircase, a helical staircase like structure which was proposed as the structure of DNA, and many things that many basic things that we need to understand came out in this structure. That first thing is that one nucleotide strand would be anti-parallel to the other, then only the nitrogenous bases would come in contact with each other. Otherwise, if this was not to be anti-parallel, the nitrogenous bases would would be present in the other direction. So supposedly you are having one strand like this, the other one would come like this, then only the nitrogenous bases would come in the close contact. I would give you an example for this. Supposedly you are having a staircase and you are having half of the staircase. Alright, the staircase has been cut in the middle. So supposedly this is one staircase like this. Alright, and the other one is like this. So in order to bring them together, it should be such that this one is placed like such would be the case. Again, just to make you understand, I am giving you this example. In order to make it a staircase back, you need to twist this. You need to rotate it 180 degree so that it becomes like this. It has been rotated and then only they can come in close contact and form bonds. So that is why we have anti-parallel strand orientation of each nucleotide strand that is present. That has to be anti-parallel to the other one. And we have the bond formation that takes place, that is 3 dash, 5 dash, and 5 dash, 3 dash. These are just for understanding that the polarity happens to be opposite, anti-parallel. And after understanding this, I hope it is quite clear what the nucleic acids are all about. Next, we are going to understand the structure of ATP. Now, what is ATP? ATP is the energy currency of cell. We come across this term quite oftenly. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell because it generates ATP. And if we have to see the structure of ATP, what ATP is all about? ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. All right. As the name suggests, triphosphate, there would be 3 phosphates which would be present as a result of phosphoric acid changes. What is adenosine? When we understand adenosine, we come across in other terms as well. So we have nucleosides. We were introduced to this term within this lecture only. A nucleoside is formed by combination of nitrogenous base with the pentose sugar. That forms a nucleoside. Now supposedly my nitrogenous base happens to be adenine and it combines with sugar, that is ribose. I'll call it adenosine. And the same way, if I am having thymine plus ribose, I would call it thymidine. Cytosine, that would be cytidine. Guanine would conform guanosine. So these are the names for the nucleosides when they combine with the sugar. Now supposedly this happens to be deoxyribose, the nucleotide, it's not nucleotide, the nucleoside would be deoxyadenosine, deoxythymidine, deoxycytidine and deoxyguanosine. In case of RNA, it will not be thymine though, it would be uracil, so we can have uridine over here. So these are the names of various nucleosides. Now in the nucleoside known as adenosine, whenever, that means there is a presence of ribose sugar. In case of the ATP, ribose sugar combines with adenine, that is a nitrogenous base with 2 rings, it combines to form adenosine. When adenosine combines with 3 molecules of phosphate, there is formation of the energy currency of cell, that is known as ATP. The breakdown of the phosphates which come and join with the adenosine, the triphosphate linkage bonds which are present, whenever that bonds breaks down, that bond leads to generation of lot of energy, and that bond would give rise to inorganic phosphate along with formation of ADP, which is adenosine diphosphate, which can again be utilized for the formation of inorganic phosphate. So this was all about nucleic